Hi doctor, my name is Huang Xiaoxi and this is my reflective video. I'm always caught up in emotional exhaustion and anxiety, so I found a video named How Mindfulness Helps Stress to help me understand the concept of mindfulness and explain how to practice and develop mindfulness by myself. First thing first, the definition of mindfulness mentioned in the video is that mindfulness is paying attention to present environment or activities in a neutral and non-judgmental way. If other thoughts occurs in your mind, just bring it back and only focus on what is happening in the present moment. The example given by Dr. Tracy reminds me of my daily life. When I'm cleaning my apartment, I always think about my homework, my quiz, or my presentation in the next tutorial class, which won't happen right now. Instead, I need to think about what kind of work I need to do, like mopping the floor, taking out the trash, tidying up the desk, and so on. That's to say that I should only focus on things happening right now. Combining the example of Dr. Tracy and my daily experience, it is obvious that mindfulness has its own benefits for me to maintain and develop. Firstly, mindfulness helps to improve the relationship between me and people surrounding me. For example, when people communicate with me, I may think about my to-do list or other things, but with mindfulness practice, I learn more to focus on present things and fully engaged on one thing, which leaves the interaction with surrounding people more meaningful. The second benefit of mindfulness is mindfulness helps me to declutter our mind. When my mind gets cluttered, I feel nervous, anxious, and many negative emotions at the same time. Let me illustrate this with incidents happen to me these days. During the mid-semester break, I went to Bangkok with my friends, and when we came back, there are a lot of assignments need to be done. The first 2 days when we arrived at KL, I didn't even know where should I start my assignment, and I didn't have any motivation to do with these tasks. So mindfulness helped me to clear my mind. Every day when I sit at my desk, I close my eyes and thought about what I need to do today. With the positive effects of mindfulness, I would be more energetic to deal with these homeworks. It's worth talking about how mindfulness helped me in my daily life and develop my mindfulness routines. I usually use mobile phones and surf on the internet when I take public transport before, but now I can turn off my phone and see what happened in the surrounding environment. For instance, sometimes I observe what are people doing in MRT or imagine what people will do through their outfits and expressions. Instead of being one place but absent-minded, I practice mindfulness by observing and thinking in the present environment. There's also an example about what I'm doing in the coffee shop. I may pay attention to the smell of coffee and coffee beans, or listening to what people said, or looking how a barista make a cup of coffee, and so on. Mindfulness helped me to calm down and to be more interested in the surroundings instead of getting lost in the virtual world of internet. I think these examples are some approaches for me to practice mindfulness in my daily routine. In the video, Dr. Tracy mentioned about mindfulness eating, which is a way I seldom tried before. Instead of watching TV or checking emails during the eating, just focus on the smell and the textures of the food. Practicing mindfulness eating is also an approach to practice mindfulness, but it is a little bit hard for me now. So one of my challenges in my daily life is trying mindful eating and making it to become a habit. And spending some time every day to do mindfulness activity is also a flag for me to improve myself. Lastly, there are 4 steps I learned from the video to start practicing mindfulness. The first step is to be aware. I think being aware of something I need to do is the basis of doing this thing well. Only raising the awareness of mindfulness can lead me to practice it and focus on the present environment. Secondly, don't multitask, do one thing at one time. Sometimes I think about why I'm overthinking. This is because I always think about something in the future instead of caring about what I'm doing in the present. So step number 3 is to be intentional to do daily tasks to focus. Doing small things with mindfulness is also an experience to help me decrease negativity and overthinking issues. The last step is to listening to people who are talking about and stop doing or thinking other things during the listening process. As I mentioned before, I may think about my to-do list or other things and then missing something important in the conversation. So I need to listen to people sincerely to avoid my overthinking problems and practice mindfulness intentionally. I think with these efforts, I can do better in mindfulness process. And that's all about my reflective videos. Thank you for your listening.